Good morning, beautiful souls. There comes a moment when you realize that your life, your one precious life, is not a rehearsal. You don't get to live yesterday again. You only get now. And the question is, what are you doing with it? I was born in poverty, raised by my grandmother, abused and doubted by many. But I learned something priceless. Your circumstances do not define your destiny. Your decisions do. You must learn to listen to the whisper of your spirit before it turns into a scream. When you ignore your intuition, life teaches you louder and harder. You must be willing to dream beyond your surroundings, even when no one believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. Just keep moving forward. The universe responds to boldness. When you step into your purpose, life starts working for you. Success is not about fame or money. It is about alignment, doing what you're truly called to do. And how do you know you're in alignment? You feel peace, you feel alive, you must know this. You are enough, not someday, not when you lose the weight, not when you get the job. You are enough right now. And when you start to live from that place of worthiness, you don't chase opportunities, they come to you. You attract what you believe you deserve. So raise your standard, raise your belief, and most of all, never forget this. Your story has power. Everything you've been through is not wasted. It becomes someone else's survival guide when you have the courage to share it. So speak your truth, walk in grace, and remember, the future is not something you wait for. It's something you create. One of the most powerful lessons Oprah Winfrey teaches is that your beginnings are not your ending. She was born into poverty in rural Mississippi, raised by her grandmother in a house with no running water, and endured years of trauma, abuse, and rejection. By all external standards, her life was destined to remain small, broken, and invisible. But Oprah made a decision, a quiet, determined decision, to not let her past become her prison. You see, the world may try to convince you that where you come from determines how far you can go. It may label you, define you by statistics, or try to box you in based on your history. But the truth is this: what happened to you does not get to decide what happens next. You have the power, right now, in this moment, to choose differently. You can write a new story. So many people get stuck in shame. They think because they were abandoned, abused, overlooked, or underestimated, that they are not worthy of greatness. But here's what Oprah shows us. Your past is not a life sentence. It's a launching pad. Every painful experience can become fuel for your growth if you let it. The pain, the struggle, the rejection. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to shape you. Think about it. Some of the world's most successful and inspiring individuals rose from the ashes of adversity. Why? Because they refused to accept the limits others placed on them. They didn't deny their past, but they didn't allow it to dictate their future either. They used it, learned from it, and eventually transcended it. Oprah teaches us to stop defining ourselves by the worst thing that ever happened to us. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not the names people called you or the dreams that didn't come true. You are the possibility of transformation. You are the author of the next chapter. It doesn't matter where you started. What matters is where you decide to go from here, and know, one, not your past, not your critics, not even your own doubts, can take that power away from you. Oprah often speaks about a deep, quiet inner voice, a whisper that tries to guide you toward your highest good. She believes that life is always speaking to us, not in loud declarations, but in subtle nudges, feelings, and signs. The problem is, most of us are too busy, too distracted, or too doubtful to pay attention. She says, life whispers to you all the time, and if you don't listen to the whisper, it gets louder and louder. It's like getting thumped upside the head. What starts as a gentle discomfort becomes a full-blown crisis if ignored. That feeling in your gut, that tug in your heart, it's not random. It's your spirit speaking, trying to get you back on course. The truth is, we all have intuition. It's built into us, but we've been conditioned to override it, to trust logic over feeling, to value other people's opinions more than our own inner truth. We ask for advice from everyone else, searching for permission to do what our soul already knows is right. But Oprah teaches us this sacred truth. Your spirit always knows the way. It doesn't scream or beg, it whispers, and the more you honor those whispers, the stronger and clearer they become. That uneasy feeling about a relationship, that boredom in your job, that spark of excitement when you imagine doing something new, these aren't random emotions. They are spiritual signals pointing you toward what is meant for you. Learning to listen means learning to get still. To pause to reflect, it means trusting that not everything can be proven on paper. Some truths are felt, not measured, and when you begin to honor that feeling, even when it scares you, you start to live in alignment. Oprah didn't become who she is by following a blueprint. She followed her inner compass. She turned down safe offers. She walked away from things that didn't feel right, even when they looked good on the surface. And that's why she says, when you don't know what to do, get still. The answer will come. So instead of drowning out your own wisdom with noise, start listening. Your life will always try to guide you, but only if you're quiet enough to hear it. If there's one thing Oprah Winfrey has demonstrated again and again, it's that boldness is a spiritual force. She didn't build a media empire by playing small. She didn't impact millions of lives by staying safe. She chose to be bold, and not bold for the sake of ego, but bold in the name of purpose. Purpose isn't something you find once and it magically makes everything perfect. It's something you grow in by listening to your inner calling, following your curiosity, and being willing to do what most people are afraid to do. Show up fully as yourself. Oprah teaches that each of us has a divine assignment, and that assignment is not necessarily tied to a job title or a career path. It's about doing what you were uniquely created to do. But here's the truth. Purpose doesn't chase you. You have to move toward it with intention. That means being willing to take the leap even when you can't see the full staircase. That means saying yes to opportunities that stretch you, challenge you, and scare you just enough to make you grow. Boldness isn't about being fearless. It's about doing it afraid. There will be resistance. There will be doubt. People will question your dreams because they don't match what's normal or safe. But Oprah reminds us, when you step into your purpose, life starts working for you. Doors open. People appear. Resources show up. It's as if the universe says, she's ready. Let's help her. But it all begins with a decision to no longer shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. A decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating momentum. Boldness isn't about perfection. It's about presence, showing up fully, authentically, and courageously. Purpose requires risk. It requires trust, but more than anything, it requires action. You can't just think about it. You have to step toward it. Sometimes that means quitting the job. Sometimes it means speaking up. Sometimes it means starting over. But every bold step you take brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. So ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And then do that. That's where your purpose lies. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, awards, and applause, Oprah Winfrey offers a radically different definition of success. One rooted not in what the world sees, but in what your soul feels. She says, you become what you believe, not what you want, what you believe. And what you believe about success can either free you or enslave you. Most people chase a version of success that isn't even their own. They climb ladders that lead to nowhere, achieve goals that leave them feeling empty, and live lives that look successful but feel hollow. Why? Because they're chasing approval, not alignment. Oprah teaches us that real success is inner success. It's waking up with peace in your heart. It's doing work that lights you up. It's going to bed knowing you were true to yourself, not trying to be someone else. When you're in alignment, when your values match your actions and your work reflects your truth, you feel whole. You feel alive. That's why she turned down projects, offers, and deals that didn't align with her vision, even when they promised big money or attention. She didn't just want to be on television. She wanted to create meaningful conversations. She didn't just want to be a celebrity. She wanted to be a force for good. That's alignment, and alignment requires discernment. You have to learn to say no to what's not for you, even if it looks glamorous. You have to listen to your inner compass more than the crowd, because here's the truth. Applause is temporary, but alignment is sustaining. Applause fades, alignment fuels you for life. So ask yourself, am I chasing recognition or living from purpose? Am I doing this because it's what I want, or because it's what they expect? When your heart, your gifts, and your work are in sync, that's where true success lies. You may not get a standing ovation, you may not trend online, but you will have peace, and no amount of applause can match that. If there is one message Oprah Winfrey has repeated across decades of her life's work, it is this: you are already enough. Not someday, not when you achieve more, lose weight, get the job, or fix your past. You are enough right here in this moment. This is not just a motivational catchphrase. It is a deep spiritual truth, one that, when fully embraced, has the power to change everything. So many people live with the false belief that they must earn their worthiness. They believe that love, acceptance, and success come only after they've become better, as if they are not already whole. Oprah challenges that belief. She invites us to stop living our lives trying to prove something, and instead to live from a place of knowing, I am enough. I have nothing to prove. She says, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. Let that sink in. Your value is not determined by how others see you. It is not based on your resume, your appearance, your productivity, or your popularity. It is based on the simple, unchangeable fact that you are a human being, unique, sacred, and worthy of love just as you are. When you believe you are enough, something shifts. You stop begging for attention. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop measuring yourself against everyone else. And instead, you start living from a place of wholeness rather than lack. It doesn't mean you stop growing, it doesn't mean you settle or stop dreaming, but the difference is you're no longer chasing growth to become worthy. You're growing because you already are. That's the foundation of true self-love. Not perfection, but compassion. Oprah knows what it feels like to doubt your worth. As a child, she was told she wasn't good enough. She was teased, hurt, dismissed. But instead of internalizing that story forever, she wrote a new one. She stepped into her truth, and now she teaches others to do the same. So pause for a moment, breathe, and remind yourself, I am enough, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. That truth is your starting point. From there, anything is possible. One of the most transformative lessons Oprah Winfrey has taught is this: your energy is your personal currency. Every thought, every word, every action carries a vibration. And what you send out into the world, through your attitude, your intentions, your mindset, comes back to you, not always immediately, not always in the form you expect, but eventually, inevitably, the energy you give finds its way back. This isn't just a feel-good idea. It's a powerful truth rooted in both spiritual law and real-world experience. Oprah calls it the law of cause and effect, and she has lived by it faithfully. She says, the energy you create and bring to the space determines the outcome. In other words, your mindset shapes your reality more than your circumstances do. If you walk into situations with bitterness, resentment, or fear, that energy repels opportunity and connection. But when you walk into a room with confidence, kindness, and openness, you become magnetic. People feel it, even if they can't explain it. Energy speaks louder than words. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people always seem to attract good things? It's not luck. It's energy. They believe in their own worth. They uplift others. They operate with gratitude instead of entitlement. And that frequency sends a message to the universe. I am ready for more, and more arrives. On the flip side, if you constantly feel like life is working against you, it's worth asking, what am I putting out there? Am I operating from lack, from fear, from comparison? Oprah teaches that you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So if you want better relationships, bring better energy into your own. If you want more abundance, stop complaining and start appreciating what you already have. If you want peace, stop feeding chaos. Your energy is your message to life, and life is always responding. Oprah doesn't just speak this, she lives it. From her talk shows to her interviews to her personal interactions, she brings presence, warmth, and intentionality. And that's why people open up to her, trust her, and are transformed by even a short conversation with her. You don't need to be famous to do the same. You just need to be mindful of the energy you're broadcasting, because whether you realize it or not, you're always creating the climate around you. One of the most powerful truths Oprah Winfrey has shared, over and over again, is that your pain is never wasted. The struggles you've endured, the heartbreaks you've faced, the detours and dead ends you've encountered, they all hold meaning. Not always in the moment, and not always in the way you'd choose, but eventually, if you're willing to reflect and grow, you'll see your struggle was shaping you. Oprah herself endured some of life's deepest hardships: poverty, sexual abuse, rejection, and public criticism. She had every reason to stay bitter, small, and defeated, but instead she chose to turn her wounds into wisdom. She chose to see her pain not as punishment, but as preparation. This is not about glorifying suffering. It's about reclaiming power in the face of it, because when you believe there is meaning behind the mess, you don't break, you build, you rise. Every painful moment you survive becomes a brick in the foundation of your strength. That loss taught you how to let go. That betrayal taught you who to trust. That failure taught you how to begin again. It may not feel like it now, but you are being carved into something stronger, deeper, and more whole. Oprah says, turn your wounds into wisdom. And what she means is this: don't let pain be the final chapter in your story. Let it become the fuel for your purpose. Let it connect you to others. Let it humble you, deepen you, teach you empathy. You are not broken. You are becoming. The most beautiful, resilient people are not those who have lived easy lives. They are the ones who have been through darkness and chose to shine anyway. They are the ones who use their pain to lift others, who say, I've been there too, and mean it. And that kind of authenticity, that kind of healing, it's powerful beyond measure. Your struggle may not make sense yet, but one day someone will need to hear your story. And when you tell it, you will realize this pain wasn't just about me. It was about purpose. Oprah Winfrey often emphasizes the truth that your circle shapes your destiny. Who you spend your time with influences how you think, how you speak, how you dream, and ultimately how you live. That's why one of her core life lessons is this: surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. It sounds simple, but this principle can make or break your future. The energy of the people closest to you either fuels your fire or drains it. They either challenge you to grow or keep you stuck in smallness. They either speak life into your dreams or plant seeds of doubt. And if you're not intentional about who you allow into your life, you'll find yourself absorbing the fears, limitations, and negativity of others. Oprah learned this early. As her career started to rise, she had to make hard choices, sometimes letting go of relationships that no longer aligned with her values, her purpose, or her growth. She realized that just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they deserve a front row seat in your future. Loyalty is not an excuse to stay stagnant. The truth is, if you want to elevate your life, you have to elevate your environment. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, not just your past. People who clap for you when you win, not compete with you. People who challenge you with love, not criticize you out of insecurity. You deserve to be around those who inspire you to rise. But it's not just about what others give you. It's also about who you are in return. Are you someone who lifts others higher? Do you bring encouragement, vision, and integrity into your relationships? Because the energy you bring into your circle shapes it just as much. Oprah's closest friends, like Gayle King and Maya Angelou, weren't just companions, they were mirrors. They reflected truth, growth, grace, and resilience. They reminded each other of who they were in the moments they forgot. That's the kind of friendship that transforms lives. So ask yourself honestly, are the people around me watering my soul or draining my spirit? And then ask the deeper question, am I doing the same for them? Because when you build a circle based on truth, love, and elevation, your future expands beyond limits. If there is one daily practice Oprah Winfrey swears by, one that she says has transformed her perspective, her peace, and her power, it is the practice of gratitude, not as a passing emotion, but as a way of life. She says, be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. It's easy to be grateful when everything is going right. When the money is flowing, the relationships are smooth, the dreams are coming true, gratitude feels natural. But what Oprah teaches is that the real power of gratitude comes when things are hard, when life feels heavy, when nothing seems to be going your way. That's when gratitude becomes a spiritual anchor. Why? Because gratitude doesn't change your circumstances first. It changes you. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present, from what's missing to what's working, from why me to look how far I've come. And when you shift your perspective, your energy shifts, your choices shift, your ability to find strength in the storm grows stronger. Oprah began keeping a gratitude journal long before it became trendy. Each day, she would write down 5 things she was thankful for, not big things, but simple things, a warm meal, a kind smile, a quiet moment. That discipline rewired her brain to look for the good even when life felt overwhelming. It taught her that joy doesn't come from more, it comes from noticing what's already here. And science now confirms what Oprah lived out. Gratitude improves emotional well-being, strengthens relationships, reduces stress, and even boosts physical health. But beyond the science, there is a spiritual truth. When you're grateful, you open the door to receive more. Because you're telling life, I see what you've given me. I'm ready for what's next. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see the full picture. Acknowledging the hardship and the hidden gifts. It means saying, this is hard, but I'm still breathing. I still have something. I still have today. And that choice, it changes everything. Oprah Winfrey's life is a living testament to this truth. Your beliefs shape your reality. Not your background, not your circumstances, not your past mistakes, but what you truly, deeply believe about yourself. That becomes your life. She says, you don't get what you want. You get what you believe. That one sentence is the foundation of her philosophy, her success, and her transformation. And it challenges us all to look inward and ask, what do I really believe I deserve? So many people carry unconscious beliefs that limit them. Beliefs inherited from childhood, from trauma, from culture, from years of rejection or pain. Beliefs like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lovable, I always mess things up, I don't deserve happiness, I'll never be successful. These thoughts become invisible scripts, silently running our lives and keeping us small. But Oprah teaches that we are not prisoners of those old beliefs. We have the power to challenge them, to rewrite them, to replace them with something more true. Because you will never rise above the level of your self-worth. If you don't believe you deserve love, you will sabotage every relationship. If you don't believe you're worthy of success, you'll reject the opportunities meant for you. Life reflects back the energy you send out, especially the energy you send toward yourself. Oprah didn't come from privilege. She was born into poverty, experienced deep trauma, and was told by many that she would never be more than her circumstances. But she made a decision to believe in herself more than anyone else's doubt, to see herself not as a victim, but as someone who could grow, evolve, and create a new story. And that's what she invites all of us to do, to see ourselves clearly, love ourselves fully, and believe deeply that we are worthy of a full and beautiful life, not because someone else says so, but because we choose to believe it. Your future is not determined by fate. It's shaped by your faith, not just in something bigger, but in yourself. When you raise your beliefs, you raise your standards. And when you raise your standards, your entire life begins to transform to meet them. The most extraordinary thing about Oprah Winfrey isn't her fame, her wealth, or even her success. It's her unwavering belief in possibility. Not just for herself, but for you. For every person who has ever felt unseen, unheard, or unworthy. She's living proof that your beginnings do not define your endings, and your struggles are not the end of your story. Each piece of wisdom she shares about purpose, belief, energy, gratitude, and alignment isn't theory. It's tested truth. It's wisdom born from experience, pain, victory, and reflection, and it's not reserved for the few. It's available to anyone willing to listen, to grow, and to believe that their life can be different. So now it's your turn. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start believing, not just in the possibility of a better life, but in your ability to create it. Because you can, you are enough, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are worthy of a life that reflects your truest self. Take ownership of your energy, guard your circle, choose gratitude over scarcity. Align your life with purpose, and most importantly, believe in the power of your own becoming. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are becoming, and your future is waiting for you to show up fully. So step forward, with intention, with courage, and with the quiet, unshakable belief that your best life isn't behind you. It's just beginning.